Let's talk about the Knicks and Pistons, which has gone sideways on the Knicks pretty quickly. Series tied at 1-1 as it shifts back to Detroit, but it very easily could be 2-0 Pistons. Detroit had a lead, 8-9 point lead in the fourth quarter of game one. They get up a 21-0 run, really choked away their first playoff game for a lot of those key guys. Gave up a run to the Knicks in game two as well, but they held on in this one. Cade Cunningham continues to kick the crap out of New York. He was brilliant. Dennis Schroeder made some shots down the stretch. And the Knicks, like this, just all Jalen Brunson all the time offense is not getting it done against Detroit. So I guess we'll play the same game. Which team would you rather be, Rachel Nichols, going into game three? The Detroit Pistons or the New York Knicks?
I'd still rather be the Knicks because I feel like their problems are fixable. But, look, you and I sat last week and said this was going to be a tougher series for New York than a lot of people thought it was. So I don't think for smart basketball people who've been watching these teams, this is a shocker of a result. And especially with some of the way that New York was running its offense toward the end of the season, there is a really good piece in The Athletic. I think it's from Fred Katz, who is talking about sort of the way teams shifted and the way they started defending Karl Anthony Towns in the middle of the season and how that really changed the way that he plays. And he actually plays worse against smaller defenders. And especially as that game two, the clock ran down, it was Jalen Brunson. He was not involving Cat at all. And the truth is, there is no one else on that starting roster who can hit threes the way Karl Anthony Towns can. And they cannot just eliminate that from their game. They have to figure out a way. Tibbs has to figure out a way to get Cat more involved and get him the matchups he likes better. Jalen, who acknowledged this, by the way, after the game, he said he has to do a better job of involving, frankly, everybody, and certainly Karl Anthony Towns. And then, of course, it is partly on Cat to be more aggressive the way, we know that he can be when he is, quote, on. And, he's called himself, the best scoring big man in NBA history. There are times that's accurate. And we just haven't seen it yet this series, and they need him to be that kind of guy for the rest of the way.
They also need this fleet of wing defenders that they have to stop Cade Cunningham. Like, they've got to slow him down. I mean, Cade Cunningham, 21 points in game one, did a decent job there, 8 for 21 from the floor. He blew up in game two, 33 points, 11 of 21, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, couple of steals. He was the best player on the floor in game two. And that's not an aberration against the Knicks. He averaged 30 points per game against the Knicks during the regular season. Like, this guy plays really well. And look, the Knicks took a step back this year defensively. No doubt about that. But they still have a whole bunch of guys that nominally are among the best perimeter defenders in the league. They've got Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart. Like, they've got a bunch of guys that should be able to limit him more than he's been limited for most of the games he's matched up with them this season. So that to me is priority number one. I agree with everything you said about the Knicks. I mean, watching them just run Brunson sometimes in isolation, and Brunson's such a great shot maker. He won the Clutch Player of the Year award this week, and he deserves that. I mean, he is going in against defenders that are bigger, taller, longer, more athletic, and he's scoring more often than he's not.
Yeah.
But you're not going to win a playoff series just isolating Jalen Brunson, and not even against a team like the Pistons. So I would still rather be the Knicks. I think experience matters. I think if you rank the top 5 or 6 best players on the floor, the Knicks are probably going to have 4 of them most times. So, all that tells me that they're better. But, I don't know, what would you say? They've probably been outplayed in 6 of the 8 quarters in this series.
I think that's fair. I do.
That's real. That's real. Like, Detroit, if they don't, choke away game one where they can't inbound the ball to start the fourth quarter, and they're doing all these dumb things that you expect a young team to do. If they don't choke that game away, you're down 2-0 headed back to Detroit. I would you're in a bad spot.
As incentive for the Knicks players is not only obviously would it be a real letdown if they can't win a first round series, they are not going to look good in their second round series if they make it there. We have seen all the games that the Knicks have played against the Boston Celtics, who even with Jason Tatum's injury, we certainly expect them to get out of that matchup okay. There is not good news for them waiting if they advance out of this round. So if I were Knicks players and I wanted to, A, not spend the summer being criticized in the New York tabloids, but more importantly, B, still be on this team next year, because I think there will be some tinkering, whether it's on the bench with coaching staff or whether it's on the floor. If they can't get out of the first round, or if they barely by the skin of their teeth beat this Pistons team, I think there's going to be more changes than we might even anticipate in New York.
I think if they can't beat the Pistons, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, I think they will find a way to muscle through this series. It might take them 7 games to do it, but I think they'll find a way. But if they couldn't get through the Pistons, like, what would be your excuse be? Like, you've got, most of your guys healthy. You got Mitchell Robinson back. I mean,
Yeah.
there really wouldn't be. I don't know what's going on with Jalen Brunson that's requiring him to go to the locker room with 5 minutes to play, at the end of every game. But, by and large, this Knicks team is healthy and good to go. And if they wind up going out against Detroit, that's a podcast for another day. If that day comes, that's a conversation for another day.